My name is Karen Fabian, and I am the founder of Bare Bones Yoga. This is my dog, Bailey Rose. Sometimes she likes to help with yoga classes and yoga poses. I am going to show you today how to come into wheel, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Urdhva means upward, and Dhanurasana means bow. So the pose is an upward-facing bow pose. And for this posture to work, you need to have flexibility in your shoulders as well as your hips. It's a shoulder opener, otherwise known as a heart opener, and it's also a position where you're in hip extension, which essentially means you're leaning back. And so prior to doing this pose, you would want to do a sequence of yoga that opens up both the hips and the shoulders. So once that's done, and you come to prepare yourself to come into wheel, you would come down onto your back. Placing your feet about hip width distance apart. Okay, Bailey, can you come up now? And lying onto your back. One of the things I want you to notice is that in order to round the back, to essentially come up into a rounded position, you need to begin to draw the shoulder blades in towards the spine. And as you're lying here on the floor, if you begin to create that action in your middle to upper back, you'll notice that without even any pushing into the ground, but rather just focusing on curling the shoulder blades in together, you begin to push up through your sternum, your heart center, your breastplate, and the chest starts to rise. Now, of course, that's not going to be enough to get you up into full wheel, but it's part of the action that you need to create the bend in the back or the arch in the back. The other thing you need is a good foundation. So the feet are flat and the pushing off starts at the feet. What many people often do is try to push off by using their wrists, and the wrists just are not strong enough. So once the feet are hip width, bring your hands so that your fingertips point towards your toes and your elbows are wrapping in. What the elbows wrapping in motion does is it begins to activate a muscle on the sides of the body called your serratus anterior. And when that muscle is turned on, it stabilizes your shoulder blades on your back so they don't wing out and work against you as you come up into the posture. So it's important that the elbows stay moving in rather than flopping out towards the sides. So with the feet hip width and the focus on pushing off your feet, the elbows pulling in towards the head, and a little bit of that curling in of the shoulder blades towards the spine. Push down and come onto the crown of the head. Squeeze the elbows in again and push off the ground. You can also come up on to the toes, the balls of the feet, to center the pelvis a little more. And then to come out, you tuck the chin in and you lie down. Now, having said that and shown that, you'll notice that my arms were slightly bent, and that's just something that happens in my body. You may be able to come up to straight arms, or you may find it's necessary for a while to stay on the crown of the head. It's important if you're on the crown of the head that you're not sinking into the neck, that there still is a good sense of pushing up with the hips and wrapping the elbows in and letting the shoulders slide away from the ears. So that's one place where you can rest. The other posture you can do to build strength in the legs is bridge. But quite frankly, the opposite movement in a way of pushing up into wheel is moving from high to low push-up, like this. And I have another video on how to move from high to low push-up, but essentially coming from high push-up to low push-up requires a good amount of upper body strength. And you'll notice the elbows come in here as well, which activates the serratus anterior and keeps the shoulder blades flat on the back. So as you're moving through your practice in the beginning, if you notice it's a considerable struggle to lower into low push-up, especially with the legs up versus the knees down, keep in mind that when you come to your back and you try to push up into wheel, it may be a struggle too. Now, having said that, struggle's a relative term, so you'll be working through some of this resistance and building the strength over time. It's very important with any posture, but especially with a posture like wheel, to try not to get too attached to the outcome, but rather to notice small changes made in the body over time with application of consistent practice. I hope you found this helpful. My website is barebonesyoga.com. Please visit. Please send me an email with any questions you may have. Have a great day. Namaste.